No one's crazy. In this chapter, Housel explores the idea that our personal experiences heavily shape our individual understanding of money and financial decision-making. And this understanding can vary drastically from person to person. He explains that because of the wide variety of personal experiences, different people can witness the same financial events or be given the same financial information, yet react in different ways. Some might see an investment as an opportunity, others as a risk. He further explains that people make decisions about money based on what makes sense to them individually, which can be influenced by their own personal history and experiences with money. Therefore, actions or decisions that might seem irrational or crazy to an outsider might make complete sense to the individual making them. Housel's key point in this chapter is that there isn't necessarily a universally right or wrong way to handle money, but instead a multitude of personal ways, each shaped by individual experiences and perceptions. Here are a few deeper takeaways from this chapter. Subjective money views. Housel underscores that every individual has a unique financial worldview, a kind of personal finance fingerprint. This unique perspective is shaped by a mix of personal experiences, upbringing, influential figures, successes, and failures. This deeply ingrained and individualized understanding of money can be hard to change, even when presented with new information. Cultural and generational influence. Housel discusses how historical and cultural contexts significantly influence people's money behaviors. For example, someone who has experienced economic depression might be more risk-averse compared to someone who has lived through prosperous times. The experiences of previous generations, replayed through parents or grandparents, can also significantly shape one's financial habits and beliefs. Misinterpretation of financial behaviors. He suggests that what may seem illogical to one person may be entirely logical to another, given their unique financial perspectives. Consequently, financial behaviors that appear irrational or crazy to others might simply be a reflection of someone else's unique experiences and learned behaviors. It's a reminder that financial wisdom is profoundly personal and subjective. Acknowledging different perspectives. Housel suggests that understanding this diversity of financial beliefs and behaviors can help us empathize with others' financial decisions and communicate about finances more effectively. He also notes that it can make us more open to questioning and refining our own ingrained financial habits and beliefs. Luck and risk. In this chapter, Housel discusses the significant roles that both luck and risk play in achieving financial success, and how they are two sides of the same coin. Housel points out that many financially successful people attribute their success to hard work and smart decisions, often underestimating the impact of luck. Similarly, when people suffer financial loss, they often attribute it to bad luck, underestimating the role of risk. He emphasizes that many financial outcomes are influenced by factors beyond our control. For instance, the era you're born in, the industry you work in, and even random events can significantly impact your financial trajectory. Housel encourages readers to acknowledge the roles of luck and risk in their financial journey, arguing that this acknowledgement allows for better decision-making. He notes that the line between being lucky and taking on too much risk can be blurry, and often only becomes clear in hindsight. In summary, this chapter focuses on understanding the hidden role of luck and risk in our financial lives, urging readers to consider them when making financial plans and decisions. Here are a few deeper takeaways from this chapter. Outsize the role of luck. Housel expands on the idea that luck often plays a more significant role in success than we like to admit. He notes that factors such as the time and place of your birth, the industry you work in, and the economic conditions during your working years, all factors largely outside your control, can significantly impact your financial success. Underestimated risk. On the flip side, Housel explores how risk can often be underestimated, especially during good times. He cautions that what often appears as skill or a sure bet may actually involve a higher degree of risk than realized. This misjudgment can lead to significant losses when circumstances change. Hindsight bias. Housel discusses the concept of hindsight bias, explaining that outcomes often seem obvious after the fact. He notes that successful people may retrospectively attribute their success to skill and overlook the role of luck, while those who experience failure may overemphasize the role of bad luck and underplay the risks they took. Acceptance and humility. He emphasizes the importance of accepting the role of luck and risk in our financial lives. Housel suggests this acceptance can lead to greater humility, a better understanding of our own limitations, and ultimately more prudent financial decisions. Resilience and planning. Housel also discusses the importance of resilience and planning for financial volatility. By acknowledging the roles of luck and risk, we can make financial plans that are robust to change and unexpected events. Never enough. In this chapter, Housel focuses on the concept of greed and the human tendency to constantly want more, often at the expense of satisfaction with what one already has. He discusses the dangers of the never-enough mentality in relation to money and wealth, highlighting that the pursuit of more can lead to risky behavior, stress, and ultimately unhappiness. The author suggests defining what enough means for you in terms of wealth and material possessions, and underscores the importance of moderation and contentment. The central idea is that while wealth can provide comfort and security, the relentless pursuit of more wealth, often driven by comparison with others, can lead to self-destructive behavior. Housel's aim in this chapter is to encourage readers to reflect on their own relationship with money, reassess their financial aspirations, and find a healthy balance between wealth accumulation and life satisfaction. Here's a few deeper takeaways. The paradox of wealth. Housel dives into the paradox that even individuals with immense wealth often fall into the trap of desiring more, blurring the line between ambition and dissatisfaction. He questions the purpose of wealth if it only fuels endless desire rather than contentment. The role of social comparison. Housel discusses how our perceptions of wealth and success are often shaped by comparing ourselves to others. The desire for more money and possessions is frequently driven by a desire to outdo others, not necessarily by the inherent value or joy these possessions bring. Risk and overreach. He explores how the relentless pursuit of more can lead to unnecessary and risky financial decisions. The quest for more wealth can push individuals to overreach, ignore risk, and in extreme cases, resort to unethical or illegal activities. Greed versus aspiration. Housel differentiates between healthy aspiration and damaging greed. Aspiration focuses on the improvements we can make in our lives and our financial well-being, whereas greed is an insatiable desire for more without a clear understanding of why we want more. Satiety point. Housel proposes that it's important for each individual to define their own satiety point, the point at which they have enough, and achieving more won't significantly improve their happiness or well-being. This point is personal and different for everyone, and it requires introspection to identify balance and contentment. Finally, he emphasizes that the ultimate goal should be to find a balance between material success and personal contentment. A wealth of money without a wealth of satisfaction is a hollow victory. Confounding compounding. In this chapter, Housel discusses the concept of compounding, which he considers one of the most important principles in finance. He suggests that our brains are not wired to understand the concept intuitively, which is why it's often overlooked or underestimated. Compounding is the process where the value of an investment increases because the earnings it generates get reinvested and in turn generate their own earnings. It's the snowball effect. A little bit of money gathers more and more until it eventually becomes a lot of money. The key to compounding is time. The longer money compounds, the more dramatic the effect. Housel uses historical examples to illustrate the power of compounding, noting that even small amounts, when invested wisely and left to grow over long periods, can result in substantial wealth. He also extends the concept of compounding beyond finance, to habits and learning. Small, consistent efforts can add up to significant results over time. This chapter emphasizes patience and consistent investment, and long-term thinking as keys to harnessing the power of compounding, both in finance and in other aspects of life. Here are a few deeper takeaways. The power of patience. Housel emphasizes that one of the most important components of compounding is time. Compounding yields significant results when given enough time to work. This underscores the importance of starting early and being patient, rather than seeking quick returns. Small changes, big impact. The author brings attention to the fact that even small percentages, when compounded over a long period, can lead to substantial growth. This is true for gains on investments, but also for cost savings and efficiency improvements. Long-term mindset. Housel discusses how a long-term mindset is essential for reaping the benefits of compounding. It's easy to get distracted by short-term fluctuations and miss out on long-term growth. He argues for resisting the temptation to tinker and instead allowing compounding to do its work. Compounding in life and learning. The author extends the principle of compounding to personal growth, skills, and knowledge. Consistent and incremental improvements or learning can compound over time, leading to significant personal and professional growth. Endurance through volatility. Housel points out that the path to compounding returns isn't always smooth. It comes with volatility and periods of negative returns. Endurance through these periods is key to achieving the full benefits of compounding. The non-linearity of compounding. He also delves into the non-linear nature of compounding, how it starts slowly and then suddenly explodes, and why this is counterintuitive for many people. He emphasizes that the biggest gains from compounding often come at the end, which is why it's important not to interrupt the process prematurely. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. In this chapter, Housel differentiates between the processes of getting wealthy and staying wealthy, highlighting that they require different skills and mindsets. He notes that getting wealthy often requires taking risks, being bold, and sometimes being right about a speculative decision. On the other hand, staying wealthy requires a conservative approach, being aware of what could go wrong, and being content with a lack of excitement. Housel argues that the ability to preserve wealth over time is more valuable and often more difficult than the ability to make money. He explains that taking excessive risks can jeopardize your wealth, emphasizing the importance of frugality, caution, and a long-term perspective for wealth preservation. The chapter underscores the importance of personal finance management, suggesting that even a great fortune can be lost through reckless decisions or unchecked spending. Housel advises that when it comes to managing money, it is important to prioritize safety, avoid undue risk, and always save for a rainy day. In essence, Chapter 5 emphasizes the principle that financial success is not just about making money, but also about preserving and growing that money over time. Here's a few deeper takeaways. Risk perception. Housel points out that people who have become wealthy often have a high tolerance for risk, which can be a double-edged sword. The same appetite for risk that allows someone to amass wealth can also lead them to jeopardize it. Managing this inherent risk bias is critical to maintaining wealth. Humility and learning from mistakes. The author talks about the importance of humility in staying wealthy, recognizing that wealth accumulation often involves luck and that financial decisions can and will go wrong is key to avoiding overconfidence and potential financial disasters. Capital preservation. Housel emphasizes the importance of capital preservation. He suggests that once you've accumulated wealth, the focus should shift from high returns to avoiding losses. This often involves more conservative and diversified investments. Understanding the role of time. The author reminds readers that wealth creation is a long process, and maintaining wealth requires considering long time horizons. Patience and understanding the role of time in compounding gains are crucial for wealth preservation. Frugality and contentment. Housel also touches on the role of lifestyle choices in staying wealthy, living frugally and within one's means, as well as avoiding the trap of lifestyle inflation. Increasing spending as income rises are important aspects of preserving wealth. Emotional resilience. Finally, Housel addresses the emotional aspect of wealth preservation, the ability to stay calm during financial downturns, not to be swayed by market hysteria, and resist the temptation to make impulsive decisions are all critical skills for maintaining wealth. Tails you win. In this chapter, Housel introduces the concept of tail events, rare, unpredictable, and impactful events that significantly skew outcomes. These events can have profound impacts on investment results, often making the difference between average and extraordinary performance. The author emphasizes that a few big winners can overshadow a multitude of smaller losses. This is often the case in stock investing, where a small number of companies drive the majority of market gains. Consequently, the key to successful investing isn't being right all the time, but being right about a few big things. Housel also discusses the role of perseverance in investing. Given the influence of tail events, it's important to remain in the game long enough to benefit from these rare but highly impactful occurrences. The chapter provides insight into the inherent uncertainty of investing and the importance of managing risks and being patient. It underlines the idea that rather than trying to win every time, the focus should be on positioning oneself to take advantage of significant, positive tail events when they occur. Power law distributions. Housel discusses how outcomes in many areas, including investing, often follow a power law distribution, where a small number of events or choices can have disproportionately large impacts. Understanding this can help guide risk-taking and investment decisions. Perseverance and exposure. Housel notes that one key to benefiting from tail events is to simply stay in the game. This includes enduring downturns and periods of poor performance, as these are often followed by the rare but powerful tail events. The importance of diversification. With the recognition that a small number of investments can drive the majority of returns, the importance of diversification becomes clear. Spreading investments across a wide array of opportunities increases the chance of capturing those few extremely successful investments. Redefining success and failure. Housel also touches on redefining what we consider success and failure in investing, with a handful of investments likely driving most returns. Many investments may underperform or fail. This isn't necessarily indicative of poor investing, but rather a characteristic of power law distributions. Risk management. Housel discusses the importance of managing downside risk. By limiting exposure to catastrophic losses, investors can ensure they remain in the game long enough to potentially benefit from positive tail events. Understanding luck. Housel reiterates that luck and randomness play a significant role in tail events. This emphasizes the importance of humility and recognizing the role of factors outside of our control in investment outcomes. In this chapter, Housel urges investors to recognize and strategically plan for the inevitability of tail events, acknowledging their outsized impact on investment results and the importance of perseverance and risk management. Here's a few deeper takeaways. Understanding outliers. Housel highlights that the bulk of gains often comes from a very small number of outlier investments, those that perform exceptionally well. Thus, being able to identify and invest in these outliers can have a massive impact on overall returns. The role of chance. The author elaborates on the role of chance in producing these outliers. Since it's impossible to predict with certainty which investments will become outliers, it's crucial to accept and navigate the element of chance in investing. The resilience factor. Housel emphasizes the need for resilience in investing, given the inevitability of losses. Investors need to weather these losses and remain in the market to potentially capitalize on the rare but significant wins. Positioning for luck. He suggests that while one cannot control luck, one can position oneself to benefit from good luck when it happens. This involves taking calculated risks and having a diversified portfolio that increases the chance of having a stake in outlier performers. The fallacy of averages. Housel discusses the fallacy of averages in investing, the mistake of expecting average performance from your investments. Due to the impact of tail events, real-world returns are rarely average. Emotional fortitude. Housel addresses the emotional challenges associated with investing, given the role of tail events. It requires accepting that many decisions will not pan out as expected, and that patience and emotional fortitude are crucial to stick with a long-term investment strategy. Freedom. In this chapter, Housel examines the relationship between money and freedom. He asserts that wealth is not necessarily about buying expensive things or living a life of luxury, but rather about having the autonomy to make choices that enable a fulfilling and meaningful life. The author explains that the true value of wealth lies in its ability to provide control over one's time. This could mean the freedom to pursue one's passions, spend more time with family and friends, or retire early. The ultimate purpose of money in Housel's view, is to give you the freedom to live life on your own terms. Housel also points out that everyone's perception of what constitutes enough money is different, largely influential by personal values, desires, and circumstances. Therefore, instead of striving for a universal target, each person should aim to attain the level of wealth that would give them their desired degree of freedom. In essence, Chapter 7 highlights the role of money as a tool for achieving personal freedom and underscores the importance of defining one's financial goals based on personal needs and values. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Money as a means to an end. Housel suggests that wealth should not be seen as a goal in itself, but rather as a tool to achieve the freedom to do what you want with your life. It's less about accumulating vast amounts and more about achieving enough to meet your personal needs and desires. The personal definition of wealth. Housel emphasizes that the definition of wealthy varies from person to person. For some, it could mean living a lavish lifestyle, while for others, it could mean living a simple life with the freedom to do as they please. Identifying what wealth means to you personally is key to finding financial satisfaction. The power of control. Housel stresses that the primary power of wealth is the ability to provide control over your time and decisions. This could mean being able to work less, retire early, or spend more time on hobbies or with loved ones. The importance of balance. Housel notes that striving for wealth should not come at the cost of personal health or relationships. Balance is crucial, and it's important to make financial decisions that support overall well-being, not just financial success. Redefining success. Housel encourages readers to redefine success on their own terms. Success doesn't have to equate to maximum wealth, but to achieving the level of wealth that allows you to live the life you want. The role of contentment. Finally, Housel discusses the importance of contentment. Being able to appreciate what you have rather than constantly striving for more can contribute to a sense of freedom and happiness. Man in the car paradox. In this chapter, Housel discusses the paradox that arises from our desire to impress others with our wealth. He suggests that we often buy expensive items such as luxury cars or big houses primarily to signal our success to others. However, the paradox is that the people we are trying to impress often don't care as much as we think they do, or they may not notice at all. Housel makes the point that spending money to show people how much money we have is a self-defeating cycle. It leads to unnecessary financial stress and often fails to achieve the recognition we seek. The only person we impress by being able to afford something expensive, he argues, is ourselves. The author encourages readers to find their own definition of success, independent of societal expectations or external validation. The key to a healthy relationship with money, he suggests, is to focus on personal financial goals that align with our values and desires, rather than on outward displays of wealth. In essence, Chapter 8 examines the futility of conspicuous consumption and encourages a more introspective approach to wealth and success. Here are a few deeper takeaways. The illusion of external validation. Housel highlights the illusion we often chase when we try to impress others with outward signs of wealth. The author suggests this pursuit often results in financial decisions that are out of sync with our personal needs and goals. Misplaced priorities. He argues that when we prioritize impressing others, we may end up misplacing our financial priorities, possibly leading to financial stress and even debt. The self-fulfilling cycle of excess. Housel discusses how the desire to impress can lead to a self-fulfilling cycle of excess spending, as the bar for what's considered impressive continually rises. Understanding the inefficiency of conspicuous consumption. The author underlines the inefficiency of conspicuous consumption, suggesting that it often fails to yield the admiration or recognition we anticipate. The value of inner scorecards. Drawing on the concept of inner and outer scorecards introduced by Warren Buffett, Housel suggests we should evaluate our success based on our personal standards, not societal ones. Reshaping our perception of wealth. Housel encourages readers to reshape their perception of wealth, focusing on aspects like financial security and freedom rather than displayable affluence. Wealth is what you don't see. In this chapter, Housel challenges the common perception of wealth as an ostentatious display of money. He states that real wealth is often not visible because it is constituted by the investments and savings that someone has. not by the expensive goods they can afford. The author suggests that if you see someone driving a $200,000 car, the only data you have about their wealth is that they have $200,000 less than they did before, or they're in significant debt. The truth about their financial health lies in their net worth, which is what's left after deducting liabilities from assets. Housel further explains that the money which truly matters and provides security isn't what we spend, but what we save and invest. The key to accumulating wealth, according to Housel, isn't just about making money, but about keeping it and growing it over time. The chapter concludes with an emphasis on the importance of saving, investing, and making sound financial decisions, underscoring that real wealth is generated by the financial assets that we accumulate and grow over time, not by the money we spend. Here are a few deeper takeaways. The invisible nature of wealth. Housel emphasizes that true wealth is often invisible, kept in the form of savings and investments, rather than flaunted through expensive possessions. Wealthy individuals are often those who live below their means and invest the surplus wisely. Spending money versus retaining wealth. The author differentiates between spending money and retaining wealth. While spending money often gains attention, retaining wealth, albeit less glamorous, is what builds true, lasting financial security. The misleading nature of outward displays. Housel discusses how outward displays of affluence can be misleading. A lavish lifestyle can indicate a high income, but it does not necessarily imply wealth. True wealth pertains to net worth, what remains after all debts are paid. The value of frugality. Housel highlights the value of frugality in wealth accumulation. Those who can resist immediate gratification and choose to save and invest instead of making extravagant purchases are often the ones who build significant wealth. The role of time. The author stresses the importance of time in wealth creation. Wealth typically accumulates gradually over long periods, making patience and consistency key elements in the process. The significance of financial habits. Housel argues that good financial habits, such as regular saving and investing, are more crucial in building wealth than earning a high income. Save money. In this chapter, Housel focuses on the importance of saving money as a crucial aspect of financial health. While this might seem obvious, the author explains that saving money isn't merely about accumulating wealth, but also about preparing for the inherent uncertainties of life. Housel highlights that the future is unpredictable and often brings about unexpected costs, such as medical emergencies, job losses, or economic downturns. As such, having a solid savings cushion is vital not just for future investments, but also for financial survival and resilience in the face of these uncertainties. The author also points out that savings give you options and flexibility in life, allowing you to take calculated risks and seize opportunities as they come. They give you the ability to weather financial storms without falling into debt or facing financial ruin. Housel concludes the chapter by reinforcing the importance of savings in creating financial security, providing options, and building resilience against life's unpredictable nature. Despite the attractions of spending or investing, he argues that saving money is an essential strategy for anyone aiming for long-term financial well-being. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Understanding uncertainty. Housel emphasizes that the future is inherently uncertain, which means that unexpected costs can arise at any time. Savings act as a buffer against this uncertainty, protecting us from unexpected financial shocks. Financial security over wealth accumulation. While saving money contributes to wealth accumulation, the author underscores that its more important role is providing financial security. This financial buffer can keep you afloat during challenging times, reducing stress and promoting stability. The role of savings in risk management. Housel points out that having substantial savings allows for calculated risk-taking, whether it's a career change, business venture, or investment opportunity. Savings can provide the financial backbone to explore these paths with less fear of financial ruin. Flexibility and freedom. Savings provide flexibility and freedom. Having money set aside expands your options, allowing you to make choices based on preference and opportunity, not desperation or necessity. The power of discipline and patience. The author discusses the importance of discipline and patience in successful saving. Regular, consistent saving over time is more effective than attempting to save large amounts sporadically. Reframing the perception of saving. Housel encourages a reframe in how we perceive saving. It isn't just about denying current pleasures, but about investing in our future comfort, stability, and peace of mind. Reasonable is greater than rational. In this chapter, Housel explains the difference between being rational and being reasonable with money. A rational approach involves making decisions purely based on mathematical calculations and statistical probabilities. However, being reasonable recognizes that we're humans, not robots, and that our financial decisions are influenced by our emotions, individual experiences, and unique life situations. Housel illustrates this concept with examples from investing. While it may be mathematically rational to keep investing during a market downturn, it's not always reasonable for everyone. People have different risk tolerances and personal circumstances that may affect their ability to invest during such times. He further emphasizes that what's important is not striving for perfect rationality in our financial decisions, but finding a reasonable plan that fits with our individual life, preferences, and emotional comfort. Ultimately, Housel suggests that personal finance is more personal than it is finance. He underscores the need for individual financial strategies that consider our unique personalities, experiences, and emotional well-being. The chapter concludes with the idea that the right financial plan is not always what's mathematically optimal, but what's reasonable for you as an individual. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Personalized financial approach. Housel suggests that financial decisions should be customized to fit individual circumstances, risk tolerance, and emotional comfort. Rather than following general financial advice blindly, each person should create a financial plan that suits their unique situation and mindset. Emotions and finance. The author highlights the role emotions play in our financial decisions. While rational decision-making may suggest one approach, our emotional well-being may require a different path. Acknowledging the influence of emotions in financial matters can lead to more sustainable and reasonable decisions. The rational versus reasonable dichotomy. Housel illustrates the difference between being rational and being reasonable. While rational decisions are mathematically optimal, reasonable decisions take into account human factors such as fear, anxiety, dreams, and personal comfort. The limitations of rationality. The author points out that pure rationality in finance can be restrictive and unrealistic, as it often fails to account for real-life situations and emotional factors. It's not always feasible or desirable to make decisions solely based on numbers. Risk tolerance. Housel discusses the importance of understanding your own risk tolerance. What might be a rational investment decision in theory could be disastrous for someone who can't emotionally or financially handle the potential downside. The importance of comfort in financial plans. The author emphasizes the importance of comfort and peace of mind in any financial plan. A plan that causes constant anxiety, even if it's theoretically optimal, may not be a reasonable choice. Surprise. In this chapter, Housel emphasizes that surprises are a natural part of life, and consequently, of investing and finance. He asserts that the unpredictable nature of life makes it impossible to prepare for every potential outcome. But we can increase our chances of success by adopting a flexible mindset. He discusses how many financial models and predictions fail because they are based on a specific set of assumptions that may not hold true in the real world. The economy, the stock market, and even personal financial situations are influenced by countless factors that can lead to unexpected outcomes. Housel suggests that one should always be prepared for financial surprises and not be too rigid in their financial strategies. Being too tied to a specific financial plan without room for adjustment can lead to disappointment when the unexpected happens. In conclusion, Housel advocates for a more adaptive approach to personal finance and investment. He stresses that since we can't predict all future events, it's more important to build financial plans that are resilient and adaptable to changing circumstances. The chapter underscores the importance of flexibility and preparedness for surprises in financial management. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Unpredictability of life. Housel expands on the inherent unpredictability of life and how it impacts our financial journeys. He notes that changes in the economy, personal circumstances, or world events can abruptly affect financial situations, making flexibility crucial. Failure of predictive models. The author discusses the limitations of predictive financial models. These models are based on specific assumptions, and if these assumptions fail, so do the models. This underscores the need for adaptable financial strategies. Inevitability of surprises. Housel emphasizes that surprises, both positive and negative, are an inevitable part of financial life. Understanding this can help us better manage our reactions and decisions when surprises do occur. Flexibility in financial strategies. The author promotes the idea of flexibility in financial strategies. An adaptive approach rather than a rigid plan can better accommodate the surprises and uncertainties that inevitably arise. Resilience and preparedness. Housel encourages readers to build financial plans that are resilient to shocks and adaptable to changes. Preparedness doesn't necessarily mean predicting every outcome. Rather, it's about being ready to modify strategies when necessary. Risk management. The chapter discusses the importance of risk management in the face of uncertainties. An understanding of potential risks and a willingness to adjust plans in response to those risks are vital aspects of successful financial planning. Room for error. In this chapter, Housel delves into the concept of margin of safety and how it applies to finance. He explains that it's crucial to leave room for error in financial planning because the future is inherently unpredictable and full of risks. Housel introduces the principle of a margin of safety, a concept borrowed from engineering, which refers to building systems stronger than they need to be to account for unexpected stresses. This principle, he argues, can be applied to personal finance as well. He emphasizes the importance of saving more than we think we will need, investing with caution, and being mindful of financial risks. By allowing room for error in our financial decisions, we can better weather unexpected financial downturns or personal emergencies. The author also explains that a larger margin of safety is often needed when outcomes are hard to predict. Since our financial lives are influenced by a wide array of factors, many of which are beyond our control, it's wise to err on the side of caution. In summary, this chapter stresses the importance of being cautious in personal finance and investing. It's not enough to plan for the future we expect. We must also prepare for the unexpected by leaving a margin of safety. Housel encourages readers to accept uncertainty and take steps to cushion themselves against the unexpected in their financial lives. Here are a few takeaways. Margin of safety concept. Housel borrows the concept of margin of safety from engineering and applies it to finance. It's the idea of accommodating extra room in your financial planning to cater to unexpected scenarios or errors. Uncertainty and risk. The author emphasizes that the future is filled with uncertainties. Thus, when managing money, it's crucial to account for potential risk factors and ensure there's a safety net in case things don't go as planned. Importance of over-preparation. Housel suggests that in financial planning, being over-prepared isn't necessarily a bad thing. Having extra savings or being overly cautious in investments might seem excessive in good times, but it provides a buffer during hard times. Adaptive risk management. The author introduces the idea of adaptive risk management. Given the unpredictable nature of finances, he encourages readers to dynamically adjust their margin of safety based on circumstances. For instance, during times of high market volatility, increasing your margin of safety would be prudent. Relationship between predictability and safety margin. Housel explains that as the predictability of an outcome decreases, the need for a margin of safety increases. Since personal finance involves several unpredictable elements, the application of a safety margin becomes crucial. Embracing uncertainty. The chapter encourages acceptance of financial uncertainties and planning for them. This acceptance can lead to more resilient financial strategies. You'll change. In this chapter, Housel makes the point that as time passes, people change in their desires, in their life situations, and in their financial circumstances. And these changes can have profound impacts on one's financial plans and goals. Housel explains that the financial plan made by your past self may not suit the needs of your future self. What seems important today may not be the case in 10, 20, or 30 years. This realization is significant because many people make long-term financial plans based on their current situation and desires without accounting for future changes. The author emphasizes the need for flexibility in personal finance. Your financial strategies and investments should evolve with your changing life circumstances and goals. He also suggests revisiting and revising your financial plans periodically to ensure they align with your current needs and future aspirations. In conclusion, this chapter underscores the importance of recognizing the inevitability of change in one's financial life. It stresses the need for adaptable financial strategies that can accommodate the changes in one's personal and financial life. It's a reminder that personal finance is not a set-it-and-forget-it task, but requires regular reevaluation and adjustment. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Evolving personal desires and circumstances. Housel underscores that as we grow, our desires, situations, and preferences change. These changes can significantly influence our financial needs and goals. Future self versus present self. The author expands on the concept of how our future self might have different financial needs compared to our present self. It's a reminder that what seems crucial or desirable today may not hold the same value in the future. Dynamic financial planning. Housel advocates for a dynamic approach to financial planning. He suggests that financial plans should not be static, but should evolve with our changing situations and desires. Periodic reassessment of financial goals. The author advises the periodic reassessment of financial goals. This reassessment helps to ensure that our financial plans align with our evolving needs, aspirations, and life situations. Flexibility in investments. Housel encourages flexibility in investment strategies, given that our financial needs and goals change over time. Our investment strategies should adapt accordingly. The limitations of long-term predictions. The chapter also discusses the limitations of making long-term financial predictions based on our current situations. It highlights the need for accommodating changes and uncertainty in these plans. Nothing's free. In this chapter, Housel introduces the idea that every financial decision comes with an opportunity cost, and that there are no true free lunches in finance. Even when something appears to be free or a sure thing, there are always risks, costs, or sacrifices that may not be immediately apparent. The author discusses how every investment or financial decision, even those that seem secure and profitable, involves a trade-off. For example, investing in a particular stock means you're foregoing the opportunity to invest that money elsewhere. Buying a house involves not just the upfront cost, but ongoing maintenance costs, property taxes, and the potential loss of mobility. Housel also delves into the psychological costs associated with financial decisions. For example, risky investments can lead to stress and anxiety, while spending less to save more can impact one's lifestyle and happiness. In conclusion, this chapter emphasizes that it's essential to consider the hidden costs, risks, and trade-offs associated with every financial decision. Understanding that nothing is free in finance can help one make more informed, realistic, and sustainable financial decisions. Here are a few deeper takeaways. Concept of opportunity cost. Housel delves into the idea of opportunity cost in finance, which suggests that every financial choice made has a trade-off. Every investment or purchase means sacrificing other potential opportunities with that money. Hidden costs. The author expands on the idea of hidden costs. He explains that every financial move, even the seemingly lucrative ones, come with hidden expenses that aren't immediately visible. These could include ongoing maintenance costs, taxes, or potential loss of flexibility. Psychological costs. Housel discusses the psychological impacts of financial decisions. For instance, high-risk investments may bring stress and anxiety, while stringent savings may lead to a feeling of deprivation or compromise on quality of life. Risk and reward trade-off. The chapter also explores the inherent trade-off between risk and reward in investments. Higher potential returns usually come with higher risks, while safer investments typically offer lower returns. Understanding this trade-off is crucial in making informed financial decisions. No free lunch in finance. The chapter underscores the idea that there's no free lunch in finance. Even when an opportunity seems too good to be true, it usually involves risks, costs, or sacrifices that may not be immediately noticeable. Informed decision making. The author emphasizes that understanding the concepts of opportunity cost, hidden costs, and psychological costs can lead to more informed and realistic financial decisions.